I'm Noah Ramos.
And I'm Skylar Gonzales. Today we'll be talking about Foster the People, perhaps best known for their crossover hit Pumped Up Kicks, and their songs have a distinct indie pop dance feel. Their founder Mark Foster, original bassist Jacob Fink, and backup vocalist Mark Pontius have cultivated 3 albums featuring intense topics with an easy-to-swallow feel. In this presentation, we'll be covering the original band members, their breakthrough hit, and their 3 studio albums.
So Mark Foster was born on February 29th in 1984 in San Jose, California. After graduation in high school, Mark moved to LA where he got caught up with drug addiction and finally found peace by creating the band Foster the People. Jacob Fink, the bass guitar player and backup vocalist, also known as Cubby Fink, was born October 4th, 1983. After moving from his hometown in Denver to San Diego at the age of 9, he went on to graduate La Costa Canyon High School in San Diego. After graduation, Fink went to South Africa to help fight AIDS and promote self-awareness. And roughly 3 years before Fink released the indie pop single Pumped Up Kicks with Foster the People, he graduated with a communications degree from Vanguard University, according to Fandom, a Wikia-powered page. Mark Pontius, also known as Poncy, is an active vegan and a fan of Dunkin' Donuts. Born on January 3, 1985 in Orlando, Florida, early on in his life, Mark remembers one of his biggest music influences being brought up onto a live show for the first time to play with people triple his age, claiming it was something he will never forget according to his Instagram account. After leaving Malbec in 2009, Pontius was asked to join Foster the People by Mark Foster for at least half a year, rather than pursuing his goal at the time to move to Australia. To this day, both Marks are still working together. As for Pumped Up Kicks, the term Pumped Up Kicks refers to the Reebok basketball shoe that became popular in the 80s and the early 90s. The shoe could be pumped up by squeezing the tongue of the shoe, supposedly giving you an edge if you needed an extra lift on the court. Mark wrote this to kind of get into other people's minds and give an introspective view on people, and actually talked about how all the other kids with the pumped up kicks is really him talking about all the wannabes and lookalikes at the time. It was initially popularized by Pasadena licensed KROQ-FM throughout Los Angeles in early 2011 and was a crossover hit that was played on many radio formats.
The massive success of Pumped Up Kicks allowed the band to get a record label, and in 2011 they released their debut album, Torches. The album is characterized by its pop synth feel, with strong guitar and piano used to back the to-the-point lyrics and incredibly straightforward and catchy bass lines. Pumped Up Kicks was the only hugely popular single of the 4 released from the album. The lyrics to each song are generally unrelated, and there's not a wider narrative. The album does not have a heavy emotional feel. However, Mike from the Evil Jam claims in a 2014 article that Torches was primarily performed and written solely by Mark Foster, and in some ways is an exceptionally individual record. Torches was followed 3 years later by Supermodel in 2014. Supermodel is a concept album. Mark Foster claims in an article published by Paste Magazine in 2014 that it is a conversation with God, trying to explore who God is. The album takes a small departure from its predecessor, with a more natural sound featuring heavy guitar and less synthetic noise. It also features instruments from around the world, but it still retains an alternative indie pop feel. The album makes social statements about consumerism, capitalism, and the culture of creating a self-identity around one's social media presence. No standout singles arose from this album, and it received mixed reviews from critics. The 3rd studio album is called Sacred Hearts Club. Foster the People has a habit of combining very difficult subjects with upbeat dance tunes. This album discusses themes of love, loss, fame, and youth, over a synth-pop dance feel. The band stated that they were inspired by the sounds of the 60s. Soul and psychedelic influences can be clearly heard on several of the album's tracks. The album was praised for its originality and experimentation, but slammed for its consistency, or its lack thereof, and it was noted the band failed to recapture their old sound. This could be caused by the ever-changing composition of band members. Ultimately, Foster the People is known for their indie pop sound, and with 3 studio albums, numerous singles, and the consistent frontrunner Mark Foster, the band has experienced widespread commercial success. However, some critics and fans claim that the band is simply a one-hit wonder with Pumped Up Kicks. What do you think?